when you hit this age, everything else is kind of over, right? You finish working, your kids have left, your responsibilities are so much less now. And like you said, you suddenly have a lot of time. So what do you do with this time? That's the key. You shouldn't just get completely absorbed in your work at this stage. When one day suddenly you realize that you've let your friendships go, you've stopped engaging in your hobbies, you've stopped spending time on the things that have interested you, and now what do I do? So that's a wake up moment, and sometimes that wake up moment is a moment too late.
Hello, and welcome to nriwoman podcast. Today, Bettina and I have the privilege of sitting down with three remarkable women who are changing the way we think about aging and community in the digital age. We're thrilled to be introducing the founding members of Circle of Grey, a groundbreaking online platform that's redefining social connection for the young at heart. These visionaries have created a vibrant, inclusive space where older adults can forge friendships, engage in activities, and banish loneliness with a click of a button. Their work not only brings joy to countless lives, but also challenges our societal perception of aging. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Dipali, Sophia, and Maria. So let's start with what personal experiences inspired you to create the Circle of Grey? Can you walk us through the moments or series of events that made you realize that there was a need for this in our community?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ninora and Bettina, for having us. I mean, we're thrilled to be here and share our story. And I think COVID, if I can say that in one word, I'm pretty sure everyone can identify with just how difficult a time that was. It also was a time when all of us stopped to think about how we needed to, come together to make a difference, a true difference in the world, because it was a necessity. Likewise, for me, I think I had one moment where, I just got off the phone with my parents, and I just felt so sad for them. I could sense, despite the fact that we were so connected, we were in touch through the day, my mom was very tech savvy. I could sense a deep feeling of insecurity and loneliness, because they weren't able to go about their regular activities. And it just it literally stopped me in my tracks. And I felt that if my parents, who we are so connected to, who we're playing games with through the day, and who are so present online, can feel like that, then what about everybody else? And it really made me, feel like I had to do something. It wasn't something I could ignore. And that got me actually thinking about the Circle of Grey. And I got in touch with a few of my very close friends, two of them who are here and who joined me on this journey. And yes, the rest is, of course, history.
So most of us and our parents, we were facing social isolation at that time, and this seemed like an excellent platform to get together people safely. Because after all, it was online. We couldn't have any physical meetings, and this would help in sort of improving their loneliness a bit during this time. It was also a very healthy break from the constant bad news that was pouring out from TV and the media, because all they would talk about was COVID, COVID, COVID. And this was a complete, a fresh breath of air, so to speak.
So yes, for me as well. I mean, in addition to what Maria and Dr. Dipali have said, it was almost similar. But in addition to that, I think for me it was more about giving back to the community and just making a positive difference. And when Maria pitched the idea of Circle of Grey to me, which was brilliant, by the way, uh, it was just a perfect opportunity to just work together and contribute in my own small way and make the make a better impact on the lives of seniors and form new bonds and stuff like that. So yeah, that was how I came into it, and I'm loving it now.
Thanks so much, Sophia. I think COVID was one of those defining moments in all of our lives. I think it has, at least for us, and I think when we look back, even in terms of history, it's going to be one of those moments that has really changed how we live, and so many things have changed during it. especially how we socialize and how we communicate and how we stay in touch. So I think, the initiative that you've started, Circle of Gray, is absolutely fantastic. And sometimes when we start something, we have, a point of view saying that it is to help others. But in doing so, how do you think, in building this community, it has changed your own perspectives on aging and social connection?
So it made me realize how important social connections are as we get older. And few years down the line, I'll be entering into the 50s myself, and we shouldn't let the onset of age, dampen our enthusiasm, whether it's for art or it's for crafts or it's for making new friends or traveling. We have to keep our minds and hearts open to making new friends, especially, which gets more and more tough as you get older. So in that way, I realized how important social connections are after entering this.
Yeah, for many, as you grow older, you also lose your confidence. You somehow feel that there's not very much more that you can contribute. You've lived your life, you've kind of handled all your responsibilities, and now everyone else is moving at such a fast pace, and you feel like you've been left behind. But in fact, that is so far from the truth, right? There's so much more to give and even more to experience. I think, the problem really is in the lack of opportunity and focus on the elderly. And that's, in fact, what makes them feel left out and alone with nothing to share. It's not that they actually don't have anything to share. So we felt that by creating this platform, not only did we find that social connections reverse loneliness, we also realized the necessity to create this opportunity for one to flourish through simple things. Things like learning a new skill or sharing a talent, making friends or doing something you always wanted to do but never had a chance. Even doing simple things like knitting together or singing together or sharing a laugh or playing a game, like those writing games that that you played when you were little but now have no one to play with. So I think meeting up with like-minded people really keeps things together, and I think that was our biggest learning.
You guys speak so passionately about this whole, your circle of gray, with everyone, with the parents. Can you share like a particular, like a touching story of friendship or connection that has formed through your platform, something that resonates with you all, if you'd like to share it with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many, and it's so hard to pinpoint just one, honestly. But what I can say is this, that when I started the Circle of Gray with Dipali and Sophia, I mean, what our biggest hope was to be able to create a space for friendships, for real connections, to grow and to thrive. I must tell you these two small incidents. One was, when we were having this really big show, this concert, this talent show, and one of our amigos, she actually had nobody staying with her, so she couldn't record herself dancing. And so another amigo volunteered to go to her house and practiced with her and then recorded her dancing. And they'd never met before, but they just happened to live in the same place. So she traveled all the way to her house. And it was just so heartwarming, to see these beautiful, genuine, real friendships forming. And another really sweet thing that again happened just today. So one of our amigos, who's always entertaining everybody, and he's, dressed up in costumes and every single day faithfully puts up a video where he's singing. So today, actually, he was a bit downcast because his cousin had passed away. So he couldn't attend this event. And the first thing that everyone did when they came together is they said, let's say a prayer for Malcolm. And they just spent one moment in silence. And I think that sums up just how real and true these friendships are. And I think that's what warms our heart and really makes us feel that, even if we do nothing more, we've done what makes us happy.
Ria, what you said resonates truly with me so much, because I was just thinking, I said, when we were in our 20s, we thought 40 was old. And then we got to like 40 and we're like, this is not old. Excuse me. I'm still
Absolutely.
pretty good. And then like now, one gets to 50 and I'm like, oh, I still don't feel old. And like, stop calling me auntie. so, so the thing is that, we're hitting those numbers, but really don't feel it. So that's one part of it. But you touched upon something very interesting, which is none of us are really preparing for, that time where, when we may not be as busy as we are today, where we may have more time. What are we going to do in that window? So what advice would you give the younger generations about preparing for a fulfilling life later? And that is one part of it, but also when they are younger, it's not only about fulfilling and thinking only about themselves, but also putting themselves out there and thinking about the older people in their life currently. What can they do to make their lives better and to make them feel included?
The most important thing is, staying connected to the things that you love, to the people that you love, or people who you feel connected to because of something that you share in common. I can't emphasize this enough, actually, because, it's only when um, you kind of get interested in things. See, what happens typically is when you hit this age, everything else is kind of over, right? You finish working, your kids have left, your responsibilities are so much less now. And like you said, you suddenly have a lot of time. So what do you do with this time? That's the key. You shouldn't just get completely absorbed in your work at this stage. When one day suddenly you realize that you've let your friendships go, you've stopped engaging in your hobbies, you've stopped spending time on the things that have interested you, and now what do I do? So that's a wake up moment, and sometimes that wake up moment is a moment too late. And that's my biggest learning in this, and that's my biggest advice for everyone. Just make sure that you stay in touch with people you can connect with. Continue to develop your hobbies, don't let them go. Learn new things, develop an attitude of learning, develop an attitude of engaging and reaching out, and stay in touch with life outside of work.
I would say, I maybe this is a controversial thing, but I think if your parent is old and especially if they're alone, they should just be living with you. But maybe this is controversial, not everyone may agree with me on that. But even if you can't do that, once a year, go without with them, go for a holiday with them. It's really admirable. Maria's taking her grandmother and going for a short trip to Goa. It's really admirable. So involve them in at least just one holiday a year. It'll be a really memorable time for both you as well as for them.
So to go back on your point, as you know, as for all of us that have younger children in our families, we try very hard. Like I know I try very hard to tell my children, call your grandfather, make sure you've texted him, make sure. And there are days when they'll tell me, Mom, you don't have to tell us that. We do it, but because they're a whole different generation from when all five of us are growing up, right? So I totally resonate with you. On that note, what impact has the community had on reducing feeling of loneliness amongst them?
Definitely, we have a lot more interaction now with the members. They're engaging more with the posts and things like that. But they also become very open. They share their creativity, their art, especially now that we have members who are very creative. It's nice to see them coming forward and sharing their work with the rest of the group. And this not only boosts their self-esteem and confidence, they also receive positive feedback from appreciation from the other members, and it's nice to see that they're getting that little boost.
So one of the things, can you just tell us, in terms of, I mean, of course, you've set up this community, you have this interactivity. What are some of the activities that you actually do within the group to keep, the amigos sort of engaged and encouraging them to interact with each other? What kind of things that they enjoy doing the most?
So, in my opinion, they really enjoy the conversations, because, especially when they get a chance to talk there, and they enjoy talking. There was one conversation in which each of them had to bring a little souvenir from a memory which triggers a strong positive feelings in them. So each of them bought a souvenir or something, and they were talking about it and they enjoyed talking. So that conversations is something that I feel that they really enjoy.
And I think the key over here is in the variety of what we offer. We cater to everyone. We cater to all different kinds of hobbies. I think we do stuff that's a little serious. Dr. Dipali actually does a wonderful job bringing out the importance of physical and mental well-being, and she posts a lot of very, very important content that centers around topics that you don't really find information on otherwise. So I think that's a very big content block that we focus on. We also have social interaction, hobbies, learning more, sharing more, things that make you smile, stories, those kind of things on Sunday. And then Sophia does a lot of stuff on art. She posts a lot of content on art and also on technology. And then I do a lot of content on social as well as on music. And then just fun and games on Friday, riddles and jokes and things like that. And I think it's in catering to everyone, where the quieter ones who don't really want to be seen or heard or even comment, but they enjoy this content quite invisibly almost, so they come in just to look at all of this, plus they come in for our movies and our comedy screenings where we're not interacting. So that's for the quieter ones. And the ones who are a little more extroverted, we give them opportunity to present and to lead workshops, and we also give them opportunity to participate. So we have all kinds. I think we've had more than 350 events, ranging literally from magic shows and comedy evenings. What is that called, Sophia? What is that? The latest comedy thing? I can't get the stand-up comedy. We have acting. We have singing. We have exercise. We have craft workshops. We have knitting workshops. Just about really everything. So I think it's the variety that kind of keeps them going. Yeah.
All right. So, looking to the future, how do you envision Circle of Grey? And what is your hope for it to be in the near future?
So we hope it continues to be as a circle of great friends who regularly meet up, who regularly chat, interact online, post their achievements online. Whether it could be just something that they have created, or it could be some song or music play that they have played. So a lot of interactions online, and they can even meet offline, maybe even travel together offline someday, maybe. So I hope they continue their interactions and it continues to grow as a safe and secure online group.
That's really what we want. We want our amigos to lead. We want them to be on the receiving end, and we want those who are more dynamic to be on the giving end, so that it becomes a community that sustains itself and that gives them opportunity to grow, to learn, to share, and to be empowered and to empower, to be motivated and to motivate, to give and to get. That's really, I think, the goal of this. We also, of course, want to, in the future, and I think in the not so very far future, for us to also be, I mean, we might be on the receiving end, So we want the circle to keep going on. We don't want it to stop. And for that, we really want the youth involved. I think that's the second part. We have had a lot of youngsters join us, especially in our summer programs where they contribute a lot. And I think moving on one hand, we want the amigos to be independent. And on the other hand, we want to kind of pass the baton down to the youngsters as well, so that we can keep this circle going. So, aging is not about growing older. It's just about staying who you are and doing the things you love. So, what we would love actually is to have more people join this community. We all volunteer our time. There's absolutely no cost involved. We always hope that it will stay that way, where amigos will never have to access this with any financial involvement. This is just a space that they can come in, that they can enjoy, that they can be themselves, that they can make friends. Because where do you meet people otherwise, right? It's hard. It's hard nowadays. So come here, meet people like you who share your approach to life, who share your likes and your dislikes and your hobbies, and just give it a try. And we hope that it can make life so much more beautiful. So, just to kind of let you know that if you get onto Facebook and if you look for Circle of Grey, it's a closed group. You just click on there, and once you're in there, you'll see all the activities, and then we'll add you to the WhatsApp group. And we put all our event invitations out there as well. So we hope to have a lot more amigos join our community, and yeah, and stay happy and stay young at heart.
I'm just going to add one more thing to the list of things you said, that they are not the elderly, they are not the old, they are not the aging. And I think what you do is, make them visible, from feeling invisible to sort of just being seen. I think that's a beautiful gift to not just them, but to anybody. And so thank you for that, for doing that. Thank you, Dr. Dipali, Maria, and Sophia, for joining us today and sharing the incredible work you do. You're not just building a platform, you're changing lives and reshaping our understanding of what it means to age in the digital age. And to you, our listeners, we hope this discussion has challenged your perception of aging and technology and perhaps even inspired you to reach out to one of your amigos. Remember, it's never too early to start building the social connections that will enrich your life in the later years, and never too late to embrace new ways of connecting with others. As Maria said, the information to connect with Circle of Grey will be in the show notes. So let's all do our part in creating a world where age is just a number and connections knows no bounds. Both Ninora and I would like to thank you, our listeners, for joining us today, and we hope you will join us again for our episode next week. We can be found at nriwoman.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you or someone you know has a story to share, please reach out to us at hello@nriwoman.com or tweet us at nri_woman. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at NRI Woman Podcast. Please help us spread the stories of these amazing women by sharing it with your friends and family. You can find the details to connect with our guests in our show notes. NRI Woman episodes come out every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe. Until next time, keep learning, keep inspiring, and be kind.